We were talking about EBITDA, and I'm going to talk in this video about arguments against EBITDA. Before getting into it, obviously my hero introduction has to come, right? I'm Shailesh Wilson, father of a superboy, hotelier since 1988, Taj veteran, Amazon #1 best-selling author, Stuart transformed into a managing director, founder of Marian Hospitality Private Limited. Topic is arguments against EBITDA. What is EBITDA? EBITDA is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation and amortization. So now what are the arguments? There are factors or there are occasions when EBITDA is considered to be a good indication of performance. That is one part of the story. Second part, others believe that the calculation can be quite deceptive and not a representative of company's profitability. So this is a counter attack by financial experts who are against the deals happening with or under EBITDA principles. So there's a contrast here. I thought of picking up this topic because it is important that people should know there are contradictions on the principles of acquisitions and mergers as well. They have kept their thoughts or calculations or whatever learnings they have done on the table against the EBITDA principle. The main argument against EBITDA is relying on the performance indicator. It does not account for the changes in working capital. So there are most of the times changes happening in the working capital. Scientifically, mathematically, account wise, it is not wrong. The argument stands right. This indication of the company's liquidity fluctuates during the interest, taxes and capital expenditure. It actually fluctuates. If you look at physically, it fluctuates. So here the argument stands right. We cannot say it is wrong. A positive value may not be synonymous with the health of the company because the taxes and interest are actual expenses that the business must account for. Nothing wrong. I don't see anything wrong in this because they are talking the reality. It is the base. It is the fact of the practical accounting. In contrast, the company may have low liquidity if the assets are difficult to convert into cash, but still maintain a high level of profitability. Usually what happens is EBITDA margin is calculated on a basic method. It is whatever EBITDA you are getting, you divide that with the total revenue earned, the gross total revenue earned. Whatever EBITDA you have calculated, divide that with the total revenue, you will get the EBITDA margin. However, the above practice is accepted by the worldwide in general, and most of the acquisitions and mergers happen and the deals are clinched. The value is generally arrived with what? With the thumb rule of EBITDA multiplied by, I have spoken to you in my last video, EBITDA multiplied with 10 times, 12 times, 15 times. So here in the first part we have seen there are certain occasions where we can see that practically whether this principle should be accepted or not. But in this video, with my understanding, I'm trying to put across, it is on you, your expertise, your experience, whatever. It is a deal-to-deal, practice or deal-to-deal decision. You apply all the methods, apply all the calculations, but when I am there in the deal, I try to ensure all the angles, all the formulas, justify every aspect of whatever has been understood, and then suggest a decision to the buyer or the seller. With this, I am concluding my video. If you like my video, say like, subscribe to my channel by pressing the bell icon. My dear friends, please don't keep it with you. Share the video. Let people learn. I am trying to put in a lot of efforts to give away whatever is there with me, the micro points, so that everybody benefits. My YouTube channel has more than 120 videos, all spoken on various topics. I have touched the micro points so that people understand the ground reality. I am winding up. I will catch you with my next video. Stay tuned, stay subscribed, and God bless you. Bye.